Being explosive on the field is the key to dominating your matchups. And training with a weighted sled is a great way to work on your acceleration. In today's episode, we'll talk about the benefits of sled runs, how to execute them properly, and how to implement them into your training. Let's get started. Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us on another Wednesday edition of the Rodu video series. I'm Rob Dulaban, founder of Rodu, and today we're talking about sled runs. If you notice in the intro, I said sled runs help your acceleration and not just make you faster. It's a subtle but key difference in that sled runs help your acceleration go from 0 to 60 and not really help your top end speed. In order to get faster, there are two things to focus on: stride length and stride frequency. Stride frequency is referring to how fast you turn your feet over as you run. A great way to work on that is downhill sprinting. Basically, you're going so fast, your legs are having to work to keep up. Stride length is making a longer stride every time you take a step. That's where force production comes into play. And sled runs are a great way to train that. Sled runs are particularly good to implement in your training because they're easily scalable by adjusting the weight, they're simple to do properly, and they're an extremely safe exercise. My favorite reason for implementing sled runs is their specificity to sport. Field sports are all about acceleration, going from 0 to 60 as fast as you can. Very rarely are we making 70, 80-yard cuts. Most of the time, whether you're open or not is determined in the first 10 yards of your cut. So going from 0 to 60 faster than your opponent is a huge advantage, and you'll be getting the disc a lot more. So let's talk execution of the sled run. This particular sled has two options you can run in: a high position and a low position. Some sleds will only have one position, but we'll talk about both here and the subtle difference between the two. In the high position, you're going to want to have your arms locked out and a nice straight line from head to heel. Again, we're working on stride length here, so what you want to avoid is bringing your feet in too much and getting into this little choppy step position. You want those nice long strides. Once you're in position, when you execute the sled run, focus on a strong drive up. That's going to use your body's stretch shortening cycle, which is the same principle in plyometrics, and give you a nice strong drive back into the ground. And that's that force production that we were talking about earlier. Remember, a strong drive up gives a strong drive back. Looking at the low position on this sled, all the basics stay the same. I want to keep my arms locked out, a nice long body, again, avoiding that pike position. I'm just moving from about 45-degree body angle to about 30. This should look a lot like a sprinter coming out of the blocks, which again, is all about acceleration. And here, same thing. Strong drive up, it's going to give you a strong drive back. Looking at what weight you should be doing, as with any exercise, start light at first. If it feels too easy, add some weight. If you've gone too heavy, take some off. Like I said, very easily scalable. A good starting weight would be half your body weight. That'll be a challenge, but you can still go fast with. And there's great versatility on how you can implement the sled run. Basically, any way you want to do sprints, you can do a sled run. Personal favorite of mine is pairing this with a hip dominant movement, such as a kettlebell swing. The two movements are very explosive and focus on skills necessary for the game. I'm getting my cardio, I'm getting my strength, hip dominant, knee dominant, all in one little couplet. If you happen to have a sled like this one, you'll get to find the low position is more taxing than the high position. So if you're doing both positions, go down low and come back high. And there you have sled runs, the simplest, safest way to become a more explosive player. Thanks again for joining us. If this is your first visit to the channel, hit subscribe. We'll have another video for you next Wednesday. See you then. Bye.